What if Halloween 4 Michael Myers had a different mask? Would it be the best in the franchise? Let's talk about it. As we all know, it is a big controversy amongst the Halloween fans for not just Halloween 4, but a multitude of movies in the franchise that they never seem to get the mask right, besides a few key movies. And that is why the Blumhouse trilogy is somewhat respected or celebrated in some regards, even though there's some story elements, because they got the mask right. And that is something that you can't say about most movies. And it all started really with Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, where they just came up with such a weird and odd mask. Technically, too, where there's even a scene where he has blonde hair later in the movie. Why is that? Why is it such a hard concept for them to say what worked so well about the original version of Michael Myers was people were obsessed with the look of Michael Myers and that mask. Now, it was a lightning in a bottle, as we know, with the William Shatner mask and all the different elements that made Halloween elevate to a different level. But people loved Michael Myers in that mask. And they just seemed to get lazy with so many of these movies, and this one in particular, I think the story they said was it came out with a pink mask, like it came out pink or something, and then they had to paint over it with white, and then it ruined all the details, and they just went with it. And then the one had blonde hair, obviously, instead of reshooting the scene. They're like, oh, it's fine, but hopefully people won't notice. Well, people notice, and it really holds back Halloween 4, and it drives me nuts because I'm so passionate about Halloween 4. It is it is my favorite in the franchise. I'm just going to say that right now. Halloween 4 is my favorite in the franchise. I wanted to keep it somewhat of a secret for a future ranking, but who cares, right? My ranking video is probably not going to do that great anyway. I have 100 subscribers. I'm letting it be known now, I love Halloween 4. And to me, the only thing that stops it from being the best in the franchise in an argument's sakes with other people, because the thing about Halloween and the Halloween franchise is everyone loves the original. That's the one holy grail that people say for the most part. You can't like anything better than the original. Where other franchises like Friday the 13th, you can have arguments for a bunch of different movies, and most people aren't going to argue that it's the original that's the best. And if you think Friday the 13th, the original is the best in the Friday the 13th franchise, you're wrong. But that's a different story. Halloween, it's like sacrilegious to a lot of people to say that anything's better than the original. And to me, Halloween 4 is basically a perfect movie for the most part. It's like story-wise, pacing, characters, right? I think Dr. Loomis is arguably at its best. It's close with the first one. I love Rachel. I love Jamie. I think they are more interesting protagonists than Laurie Strode. I think the kills are better. They're more brutal. It has the same tension and pacing of the first one to some degree, but it's amped up a little bit more when it comes to the kills, right? And the main thing that always holds it back is the mask. And it's just like drives me nuts in hindsight. Like as a kid, I grew up on this movie, had lots of nostalgia for it. So what I grew up on the most, and I didn't notice that the mask was that bad. It wasn't until I got older, started watching YouTube videos that people pointed out, and then once you notice it, you kind of don't unnotice it, especially when you get the nostalgia child lenses off the screen. But I still have some sentimental value for it, and I still don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I'm going to have a Halloween Michael Myers mask tier list ranking that's going to come out very soon. I already recorded it, but it's going to take longer to edit. So you'll probably see that after this video is uploaded, and you'll see where I rank it. I think there's other masks that are worse than Halloween 4, but it's not perfect, it's not great, and it's a shame because George P. Wilbur, who plays Michael Myers, he's also the Michael in Halloween 6. And Halloween 6 version of Michael Myers, that mask, I think is really cool, and it's one of the best in the franchise. So if we just swapped Halloween 6 Michael Myers into Halloween 4, get rid of the shoulder pads, get rid of the mask that he has, and put on Halloween 6 mask, we already see George P. Wilbur can play it. Dramatic difference, and Halloween 4 could easily, I think, have a better argument to the people that say, nope, it's the original plus nothing. Everything else doesn't stand a chance. I would argue if the mask was better, it 100% stands a chance. I already think it stands a chance right now. But the thing that people will, to me, the only thing they can really say is the mask. But think about the story, think about every other aspect of it. I think it's just as good. Just as good as the original. There's no knock on the original. I think the original is great. But it's just the mask that holds it back, and it drives me nuts. It drives me crazy that people back then could watch them put on that mask and say, yep, that's acceptable, that's fine, it doesn't matter. The return of Michael Myers after, 6, 7, 8 years, 6, 7. Sorry, I just lost focus. You get the idea how many years it's been since the return of Michael Myers because they deviated with Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. And you're going to bring back Michael Myers in this fashion where you have a different mask. The point is, they wanted to bring Michael Myers back in a big way. And they did. They did such a good job with such a great movie. But if it's the return of Michael Myers, don't you think you want to get the mask right? And the story aspect that fans, and I'll jump on that train. I wasn't like an agreement with it because I don't think that's the problem. I think it's the studio doing that, right? But the story that fans like to argue is like, well, Michael picked it up from a store, and that's the reason why it looks that way. Yeah, I'm glad that we have that option that where we can point to that and blame that for being the reason. But the real reason is that the people making the movie were too lazy to make sure that it was a conscious effort to get the mask done right. But I'm glad we could point to something where other movies like Halloween 5, you can't do that. Where Halloween 5, I think, is way worse of a mask than Halloween 4, and it just does something completely off the rails. It doesn't even look like Michael. This still looks like Michael. It just, it's just not as good as the original when it comes to the mask. What do you think? Do you think Halloween 4 would have an argument to be the best in the franchise? How much better would this movie be if it had a better mask? I suppose the question of Halloween 6 being the same actor just 2 movies later, that just swap that mask into the movie. That same person. It's not like we got to get a whole new actor or whatever. The same person literally played a better version in a different movie, a worse movie. That's the problem. I love Halloween 6. Or not love, but I like Halloween 6 because of how cool that Michael was. But if you swap Halloween 6 into Halloween 4, you put Halloween 4 into Halloween 6, then Halloween 6 would be horrible, right? The reason why Halloween 6 is still pretty good is that Michael is awesome. Like, he's great in that movie. Put him in Halloween 4, and we have an all-timer. I still think it is great, and I do think Halloween fans are mainly fans of Halloween 4, but outside of the Halloween franchise fandom, most people that are just average horror fans or movie fans, they'll only watch the original and they won't even give other movies a chance. To me, Halloween 4 deserves similar, at least, or close to the pop culture relevance outside of just the Halloween diehards in the horror fandom, because to me it is a great movie. I don't get why this movie doesn't get the same respect as Halloween 1. I think Halloween 4 is a great movie. So comment down below your thoughts on what do you think about The Mask? Is it the worst of the franchise for you? How much better would this movie be? Do you like The Mask? Is there some charm to it? I do think there's some charm to it, and I know us Halloween fans, most of you guys that are probably going to watch this video are probably diehard Michael Myers Halloween fans, so you might still have some value to it. Or just give your overall opinion on Halloween 4 in the comments below. Halloween's coming up, so we're talking all Michael Myers Halloween moving forward. So definitely subscribe so we can have more topical conversations on the Halloween franchise. And tier lists, rankings, videos, all that coming soon. So subscribe and comment down below. See you guys next time.